If you thought this week was quiet, it absolutely wasn't. Let's break down everything you need to know. Let's start with one of the most interesting spring romances. I Made Friends with the Second Prettiest Girl in My Class officially premieres April 7th. The story follows Maki Mehara, a high school student who has completely accepted being alone. No friends, no shared hobbies, no expectations for change. But everything shifts when he unexpectedly reconnects with Umi Asanagi, a girl constantly surrounded by attention, famously labeled as the second prettiest in class. This isn't about dramatic confessions. It's about awkward conversations, quiet bonding, and finding connection where you least expect it. Next, we got Magical Girl Raising Project Restart. Will premieres this fall. For those unfamiliar, this is not your typical sparkly magical girl story. It's a survival scenario. Magical girls are forced into brutal competitions where only the strongest, or smartest, survive. Laid Back Camp Season 4 has officially been confirmed for 2027. Yes, 2027. Returning cast and staff were also revealed. This series is known for its slow pacing, beautiful scenery, and relaxing camping atmosphere. The sequel to Bang Dream, It's My Go! And Ave Mujica will premiere in January 2027. The emotional band drama continues, exploring ambition, rivalry, friendship, and performance pressure. Next, this upcoming film opens March 6th in Japan, originally delayed from last year. Directed by Yoshitoshi Shinomiya, this is his first feature-length film. It's called A New Dawn. The story centers on a 330-year-old fireworks factory facing forced eviction. Keitaro, who has isolated himself inside the factory for 4 years, is trying to perfect a legendary firework called Shuhari. When his childhood friend Kaoru returns from Tokyo, the two decide to uncover the secret behind the long-lost creation. Ponkotsu Fukin to Skirt, Teiki ga Futekisetsu na Jeika no Hanashi. Premiering April 6. The story revolves around a public morals committee boy who appears strict and intelligent, but is actually useless, and a high school girl judged for her short skirt, who turns out to be highly capable and responsible. The comedy comes from flipped expectations. The strongest job is appraiser. Streaming begins April 1st. Hibiki, an ordinary high school student, gets transported to another world. Instead of becoming a hero or sage, he receives the occupation, appraiser. At first glance, it sounds weak. But with the ability to analyze skills, weaknesses, and hidden attributes, it might actually be one of the strongest abilities in the world. Classic fantasy growth story, but centered around knowledge instead of brute strength. Next is always a catch, premiering April 1st. This romantic comedy follows Maria, a duke's daughter raised to fight rather than behave like a proper noble lady. When she travels abroad, hoping to find a marriage partner, the crown prince publicly announces their engagement is cancelled. Except she didn't even know they were engaged. Things spiral from there. This looks chaotic, loud, and fun. I became a legend after my 10-year last stand. Originally scheduled for April, now delayed to July. The staff stated they want to improve overall quality. The story follows Luck, who stays behind to hold off endless demon hordes so his allies can escape. He fights alone for 10 years. When he finally wins, he returns to a world where he's already considered a living legend. Skull Dragon's Precious Daughter. Anime adaptation confirmed. An aging dragon discovers an abandoned 5-year-old girl in a wasteland. Out of pity, he raises her as his daughter. But dragons don't live forever. After his death, the girl continues her journey, unaware she may hold power beyond what even he understood. We also got an anime adaptation announced for Fungus and Iron. A quiet boy named Dante lives what he believes is a normal life, until he meets a mysterious girl named Aoi. That encounter begins unraveling the truth behind his world. Details are still limited, but it's shaping up to be a fantasy drama. Ingoku Danshi premieres April 5th. A suspense series set in an apartment complex filled with morally corrupted residents. The new building manager must deal with increasingly dangerous situations, definitely aimed at mature audiences. The legendary RPG Suikoden 2 from Konami is officially getting an anime adaptation titled Suikoden the Anime, and the first full trailer has just been released. The story follows a young hero and his close friend Joey members of the Unicorn Youth Brigade during a brutal war between the Highland Kingdom and the city-states of Jouston. After a fragile peace treaty ends the long border conflict, it seems like the war is finally over. But beneath that temporary peace, the flames of a new war are already starting to burn again. The anime is scheduled to premiere in October. Another fantasy anime coming soon is The Exiled Heavy Knight. Knows How to Game the System will be released in July 2nd. The story follows Elma, the son of a legendary sword saint. During a sacred ceremony, instead of receiving a powerful class, he ends up with what everyone believes is a useless class called Heavy Knight. Because of this, he's immediately exiled from his noble family. Elma remembers his previous life and realizes this world is actually the same world as a game he once played. Using his past life knowledge, Elma begins his journey to completely break the system and dominate the world. The spy action anime mission, Yozakura Family, is officially returning with Season 2, which will premiere on April 12th. The story follows Taiyo Asano, a shy high school student whose life changes when he marries his childhood friend, Mutsumi Yozakura. Mutsumi's family is actually the most powerful spy family in the world. Now Taiyo must train to become a spy himself while dealing with dangerous missions. The fantasy anime Wistoria, Wand and Sword, will also return with Season 2 in April 2026. Season 2 will continue his journey as he tries to prove that even someone without magic can rise to the top. A new dark fantasy series titled Monster Eater will premiere on April 2nd. The story follows Rudd, a poor adventurer known as the Grubby Forager. No party wants him because his job is collecting herbs in a toxic labyrinth. But when his party betrays him and leaves him for dead during a dungeon mission, Rudd does something unthinkable to survive. Studio A1 Pictures has announced a new anime adaptation of the manga Bless, scheduled to release in 2027. The story follows Aya, a girl believed to be destined to become a model, and Jun, who was bullied because of her freckles. Together, they challenge the beauty standards of the fashion industry and try to prove that talent and determination matter more than appearances. And lastly, a very unusual anime titled Kujima, Why Sing When You Can Warble, will premiere on April 9th. The story begins when a middle school student named Arata meets a strange bird-like creature called Kujima. The mysterious creature ends up living with Arata's family, creating a bizarre but wholesome household situation. And that's it for the biggest anime news this week. And if you enjoy weekly anime news updates, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you in the next video.